Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to a new episode of Sports News Flash at 12. Now, I am not looking my best self in terms of I don't have a suit or a blazer on. A lot of changes happened this early in the morning. And I wasn't gonna wait till later to get all ready. I'm amped up, so I'm gonna start firing off. But I hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. I didn't know until when I went to YouTube around the afternoon or late afternoon that yesterday was the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And the people who got inducted: Sterling Sharpe, Antonio Gates, Eric Allen, Jared Allen. Who else? Yeah, it was those four. This has been the smallest Hall of Fame class since 2005. The speech that stole the show for me, it was my favorite one. I felt like it was the best one. Sterling Sharpe. I'm one of those sports guys that I'm a tough critic when it comes to who should get in the Hall of Fame. In the case of Sterling Sharpe, I am extremely happy that he got into Hall of Fame. If you look at his numbers, if you look at his highlights, what he did for a 7-year period in Green Bay, it was Hall of Fame worthy. The thing is, his career got cut short in the prime of his career when he was 29 due to neck injuries. So with him, I give it a pass. He deserved to get in. And now we have Sterling and Shannon Sharpe, his brother, as the first pair of brothers to be in the Hall of Fame. I loved Shannon Sharpe's speech in 2011. I remember watching it live on ESPN. And now 14 years later, his brother's there and he honored Shannon in return. His speech was just amazing. Spoke shortly about his high school coach, but mostly about love and his family. Spoke all about his mom, his big sister, Shannon. The speech was like about 13, 14 minutes, but it was very profound. And at the end, he took his gold jacket and he gave it to Shannon. The same it it was a great thing because when Shannon won his first Super Bowl, he gave that ring to Sterling, and Sterling thought to himself, I hope he gets another ring. And Shannon ended up getting another one. Shannon finished his career with 3 Super Bowl rings. So Shannon giving Sterling Super Bowl ring, and now Sterling giving him the gold jacket. But yeah, it would have been much better had their grandmother would have been alive to see both of them get into the Hall of Fame. But they honor her, and I know she's watching, and it's a blessing to have two family members in the Hall of Fame. That's just unbelievable. That's massive. So his speech was my favorite. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Antonio Gates' speech was also great. One of the greatest tight ends to ever play this game. Mr. San Diego Charger when it was San Diego. Now it's the Los Angeles Chargers. Antonio Gates, I mean, first of all, was Sterling. He finished his career with 595 career catches, 8,312 receiving yards, and 65 receiving touchdowns, again, in 7 seasons. And another thing that Sterling said that he didn't study, he took John Gruden's advice in the sense that John Gruden told them, don't study defense, study great receivers. So Sterling, one of the things that he preached about speech is you got to follow before you lead. So therefore, he watched Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, those guys. And that's what it's all about. You got to learn from the great ones. But back to Antonio Gates, he had 955 catches for 11,841 yards and 116 touchdowns during his 16-year career in the NFL. So I'm happy that he got in. Eric Allen, I know it's been a long time coming. When I think about Eric Allen, I think about those great early 90s Philadelphia Eagles team, him, Jerome Brown, rest in peace, the Minister of Defense, Reggie White, rest in peace. But yeah, those early 90s Eagles team were fun to watch because of those guys. But Eric Allen, he finished with 54 interceptions in his career, 6 Pro Bowl selections, first team All-Pro selection in 1989. His 34 interceptions tied with another Philadelphia Eagle great, Brian Dawkins, and Bill Bradley as well. His 54 interceptions, which was the total of his career, ranks 21st in NFL history. And then Jared Allen, he spent 8 seasons with 10 plus sacks, and which is tied for 6th most in the NFL history. Four-time first team All-Pro. So congratulations to all these guys. But for me, Sterling Sharpe and then Antonio Gates were 2 of my favorite speeches. I need to complete Eric Allen's and Jared Allen's speech. But again, for me, it'll be very tough to top Sterling because his was that good. Oh, of course, I can't forget Marv Levy, the great Marv Levy, Hall of Famer. Great head coach for the Buffalo Bills in those early 90s. Today he turns 100, and he received a lot of love this weekend when the crowd were singing happy birthday to him. So may God bless Marv Levy, 100 years old. I mean, that's a blessing. Not everyone can get to live that long. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to see a long life like that. So salute to Marv Levy, and may God bless him always. In other news, so yesterday was the anticipated Speedway Classic. However, it got suspended and it will be played today because it rained yesterday. There were 2 rain delays yesterday. So today's Bristol Motor Speedway will resume at 1 p.m. and it will be on Fox. Atlanta versus Cincinnati. I'm contemplating on getting that Cincinnati hat because it looks nice. Chase Burns, he made a start yesterday. He recorded 2 strikeouts in the first inning. But according from what I'm reading here, that he will not be available to pitch for today's game. Cincinnati, they grabbed a 1-zip lead in the bottom of the first. Matt McClain, Ellie De La Cruz, and Austin Hayes collected hits in that inning. Before the game started, there was a concert that featured musical performances from country superstar Tim McGraw. Pitbull was there, Jake Owen as well. And it's also the 250th birthday of the U.S. Navy. So, well, it's coming up in October, but um, the servicemen they were honored before the game, as they should. There was also the ceremony of first pitch, which featured former Atlanta Braves third baseman and one of my all-time favorite third basemen of all time, Chipper Jones. He threw the first pitch to Chase Elliott, Mr. Atlanta. And Johnny Bench, he caught for Kyle Busch's first pitch. So not too bad. Not too bad. Not too shabby. The Houston Astros and Boston Red Sox, things got pretty interesting yesterday between them. Both benches cleared after the seventh inning, and it had to do with Astros reliever Hector Neris and Red Sox third base coach Kyle Hudson. So you have that going on. But Houston won this game 7-3. Christian Walker, he hit a two-run home run. Oh, yes, and I can't forget. Reunited, and it feels so good. First, you have Eugenio Suarez getting traded to Seattle, going back to Seattle, and now Carlos Correa is going back to Houston. But this time he won't be at the shortstop position. He'll be at third base. And Houston, once they get healthy, once they get Jordan Alvarez, Jeremy Pena back, and all these guys, they're gonna be a force. So yeah, whether you love or hate the Astros, that's a really good team right there. Just one moment, guys. Is there something else I wanted to highlight? Yes, today is the Iowa Corn 350 event. When I think about this, when I think about the 2007 um finish off race between Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano. Joey Logano, who was 16 at the time, defeated Kevin Harvick in that competition. Bubba Wallace, who won last week, he booked himself a ticket to the playoffs. It will be interesting to see who will win today for today's event, which will begin at 3:30. Tyler Reddick, he had a great year last year. This year has been kind of quiet. He's entering 138 points above the elimination line. So I believe that today's race event will be very important for him because in the postseason, only 16 drivers can get in. So today will be a very challenge for him. And I like Tyler Reddick, so let's see if he could get in. Let's see how he does today. Ryan Blaney, he won it last year at Iowa. Can he do it again this year? We shall see. But the Iowa Speedway, you can watch it on many platforms, USA Network. HBO Max. So there's that. Hockey, Alex Lafreniere. No, Alex Lafreniere. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He signed a 3-year, 12.3 million contract with the Los Angeles Kings. It happened yesterday. So the average annual value is of 4.1 million. He's 23 years old. He was a restricted free agent. And last year he had a career high in goals, assists, and points in 77 regular season games with the Kings. He had three assists in he had 6 Stanley Cup playoff games last year. He was a third round pick in the 2020 draft. So it's a good signing by the Kings, and he's young too. So, and the Kings are a team, they're young, they're getting better. It's just that Edmonton always keep getting in their way. They should have won last season, but they dropped the ball. Coco Golf lost to Victoria Mboko, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, at the Canadian Open. Coco Golf was stunned by this defeat, and this was their second match. The first one wasn't at the Italian Open. And when I saw the highlights of that match, I said, Victoria, she's got a lot of talent. She challenged Coco Golf, and if she continues that route, she's gonna be a very great tennis player in the future. And now for the rematch, and mind you, this was in May at the Italian Open, and now in August, um, she defeated her in the Canadian Open. And Coco Golf had this to say about Victoria. I just said good playing and good luck in the next round. Yeah, I don't know what else, much more to say. I've spoken to her a little bit behind the scenes, but I don't know. Some people expect me to give advice and stuff. The only thing is just to go out there and have fun and not take it too seriously. But yeah, I think she already has a good head on her shoulders. Yeah, I'm not trying to be a mentor or anything. She's doing great. Victoria, she's 18. She's gonna turn 19 this month. And she has become the youngest WTA player to reach the Canadian Open quarterfinals since Coco Gauff in 2022. So congratulations to her. And wish her the best of luck going forward. Well, guys, this does it for this episode of Sports News Flash at 12. Again, I'm sorry that I'm not looking my best sharp self, but hopefully in the next episode next Sunday, I'll look much more styling and profiling. I usually like doing these episodes of Sports News Flash at 12 with suit, looking professional, but certain things just didn't go my way this morning, but I was not gonna let that stop me from creating content. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you did like this video, hit that thumbs up. Don't forget that subscribe button. And as always, be safe and may God bless each and every one of you. Enjoy all the sporting events that will be taking place today. Take care.